Hi, this is 105 Looks, and I'm going to be doing a rebel eye with some heavy black colors, but making it really wearable with a light cheek and a light lip. So right now I've got a clean slate. There's absolutely no makeup on my face, and the reason for that is since we have such an intense eye color that we're using, there's going to be a lot of fall down, and the easiest way to clean that up later is if I go back in with wipes and with my foundation and do the rest of my face after we complete the eye. So I'm going to start by priming my eye, and the first thing I'm going to do is use Prep and Prime by MAC so that it'll really grab my foundation color and give a good base for my eyeshadow. And I'm going to take a nice flat concealer brush and prep my eye like so. And make sure you get underneath too. So the first product that we're going to be using is a Sephora waterproof liner. It's the fat one. I love these. They're really an intense black, and because they're waterproof, they don't smudge, they don't, go away after a long night of partying or whatever you're doing. So make sure you've got a decent tip on there. And basically, the way we're starting this is we're just going to line the rim of your eye. You don't need to be super precise because, again, we're blending and smudging and getting sort of a muddied look. And get just as close to that lash line as you can, and as far into the corner as you can. And the same under the eye. So once you've got it on your eye and before it dries, you just want to go back in with your Q-tip and really make sure it's in those creases. So now that we've got our eyes rimmed in this intense black liner, we're going to go back in and see where it just settled in the creases there. We're just going to take a little bit of lotion and wipe that away. That way we get an even blend towards the outside. And by this point, your waterproof liner will have set, so you won't keep getting those creases. Now, I'm going to need a small blending brush, something like this. It's flat, it's got a nice soft tip, and I'm going to be using a semi-rich pigment. I'm going to be using L'Oreal's Lush Raven. It's number 920. So I get the tip of my brush loaded, shake it out because you don't want too much, and just go back over where you lined, coming out just slightly and softening that edge of the liner. And come up on the top and do the exact same thing. Just extending that original line into the crease of your eye. And even just above it. And you can totally use your fingers to smudge as well. Now that we've completed this step, we're going to move on to under the eyes and finish up that stage. And what we're going to be using is a L'Oreal shadow again. This one's Gilded Bronze. And it's a nice brown with a lot of shimmer in it. So it'll really soften those under eyes a lot. And the brush I'm using is this rounded blending brush by Paul Dorff. It's actually made for the lid, but I like to use it under the eyes. It's got a nice pointed tip so you can get some control, but it still has a really soft rounded edge. So you're just going to move right along where you ended with the last color. I'm going back in with a clean crease brush. Make sure there's no pigment on this brush. And you're just going to blend, blend, blend. I'm going to take a nice soft lid brush like this. Go back to our less rich L'Oreal pigment. Get it well coated and shake it out really well. You really don't want too much pigment on this because you're looking to build and have more control. So now you're going to go back to the top lid right above where you ended the last time. And blend slowly up towards the brow, getting a nice smoke. But remember to bring it in towards the inside corner of your eye because you don't want it to be too cat eye for this look. And if you see yourself getting a little too cat eye-ish, just take a pinky, go like this on the outside corners, and blend away any of that black that's going awry. So now that all that's left are your lashes, and obviously you want to give them a good curl, and you want to use a really intense black for your mascara. Otherwise your lashes might get lost in the shadow. So today I'm going to be using Cheater by The Balm. It's really, really pigment rich, and it should do the trick. Remember, get in as close as possible to your lash line without hurting yourself, and get a good curl before you apply your mascara. Starting at the base and blending up, up, up towards the lash edge. You want to get a good coating and go back into your bottom lashes. Now that our eyes are done, we can move on to the brows because we want to add in that definition since this is such an intense look. So the product I'm going to be using to do my brows is this new brow mascara that I love, and it's made by Anastasia Beverly Hills, and my color that I'm using is brunette. What I do to make sure I don't get too much product on my wand is I wipe it off with a tissue because I really just want a very light coverage. And it's a mascara wand, so use it as you would think. You just brush from the base of your brow line and then slowly work out. Okay, so I'm just gonna go back in and clean any loose pigment off of my face with a moist wipe. Just make sure it's hypoallergenic, something gentle on your skin. And I'm just making sure there's no black pigment left anywhere on my face other than where I want it to be. So I've applied my base, I've cleaned up my face, all the fall down is gone, and all that's left to do is now blend my eyes into the rest of my face. And I'm gonna use this little Melon MAC pigment. They come in these little fun jars. And a crease brush. And I'm really using very, very little of this pigment. I'm shaking it out really well because I just want to blend into my cheek and make everything sort of come together. So once I've got that on my brush, I'm starting at the outside corner here and blending into my cheekbone. Now we're going to move on to the cheeks and use our blush to blend up into the eyes again. The color I'm using now is a matte color called Koi Girl. It's a nice purpley pink. All right, I'm gonna start at the apple. Okay, so now that we've finished the cheeks, I want to focus on lips, and the whole idea with your lips for this look is to make them sort of fade away so the intensity stays on your eye. I'm going to go with a color that's very similar to my blush color, so we get sort of like a monotone look that again brings you right back up to that eye. So I'm going to start with a liner. It's a matte liner by Sephora named Candid Candy. It's a really soft pink that's going to give a nice undertone to the lip color that I'm going to be putting over it. And I'm going to go right in, stay on that lip line. So I'm going to go back in with this really pretty purpley pink Sephora color. It's a really nice lipstick because it has a lot of moisture in it, which will counteract that chalkiness from the liner. And I'm starting in the center. And I just blend out into my liner. And if you get too much pigment on there, just take a tissue, give it a quick blot, and there you have it.